how are we going to solve it? They are going to flip this reality, distort it in a way that you are going to believe that it's your fault.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to say, no, but look, you said that this, we were going to do this, da, 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 and you end up paying for the bill, literally, because you feel that, oh, no, yeah, sorry, my fault. In reality, that's not what it is. They are just using those vulnerabilities that they got you to expose for, at very early on, especially if you're in a very long-term relationship like I was. The person literally knows you inside out, so that would happen.
Wow. Where were you when I needed you like 10 years ago? I mean,
Aw.
the phrase, you said, I've heard that so many times. And then you question yourself, wait a minute, did I actually say that?
Yeah.
Maybe I did. Maybe I
Yeah.
just forgot. And then
Yeah.
you get wrapped up
Yeah.
in that story, and then you
Yeah.
fall into whatever they want you to do. So with
Yeah.
that being one of the arsenals that narcissistic people will use, what are some other types of narcissistic abuse that may happen, and what are its effects?
Yes. So something that is I have seen in every with every client that I have worked with is the specifics of the narcissistic cycle. So when you are in a relationship with a person with a narcissist, there is a very specific, and I haven't figured out whether they do this, whether they are aware of this or not. But there must be some sort of level of awareness, I'm sure. So they take you through a cycle, and if you guys who are listening if this sounds familiar, then maybe start reading a little bit more about on this subject. Okay, so basically the cycle starts with the love bombing, and this can, well, let me say, so it starts with the love bombing. So you're showered with attention, gifts, you're the most important person in the world, everything is about you, and you're super happy, and you're like, oh my God, I got so lucky, I won the lottery, right? And then after a little while, starts a second phase of the cycle, which is called the devaluation. And now in this phase of the cycle, you start becoming a little bit less important. You're like, well, but you start like, oh, maybe, they're tired. Maybe this is going on in their life, but their behavior changes towards you. They sort of start, maybe making silly jokes that are actually hurting you, insults disguised as jokes. That's a very, very common one. So maybe they start introducing those things, introducing a little bit of distorting your reality, those things, and you start like having a few questions, you're like, what, is this normal? Like, what is happening? And then phase 3 starts, and that's the discard. And this is where you are not considered anymore. They don't necessarily end the relationship, but they can be with you and totally ignore you, right? So they don't meet your needs. If you are in a relationship, you are meeting each other's needs in a certain way, right? Or the relationship's needs, but they completely check out of that, check off. And it's you are not part of their world. Now, what happens is that you would say something. You would probably, you person who are probably in love and very invested in the relationship, you'd be like, what is happening, babe? Why is this going on? Like, have I done something? And that clicks for them, and they're like, ooh, this person is about to break, so hang on, let me do something. And they start the love bombing again, right? So after a few days, they come home, flowers, chocolates or whatever. Let's go for a holiday. Let's do this together. Let's plan this. Let's plan that. Everything is fine, and your brain gets convinced that everything is fine because you're like, oh, you see how nice they are. Look, they wouldn't have done that if they didn't love me, right? And then after a while, second phase starts again, and you're devaluated again, and you're like, oh, come on, it was going so well. What is happening now? Why is it going like this? And then they discard again, and you speak up again, and you're like, I'm not happy with this. What is going on? Why are we here again? So again, their alarm bell rings, and they start the love bombing again. And now this is literally called the narcissistic cycle, right? These are literally all of the phases that they take you through. Now, each of the phases can last days, months, years, and it always starts over and over again. Now, this